all faculty members, and my dear friends. On behalf of the IEEE Power and Energy Society, Student Branch Chapter at JSPM's Rajesh Shah College of Engineering, I, Nikhil Savre, along with my co-anchor, Thania Sheikh, extend a warm and cordial welcome to all our distinguished guests, respected faculty members, and IEEE members, and my dear friends.
Good morning, everyone. Today we gather here to commemorate the International Day of Clean Energy, an occasion dedicated to addressing the urgent need for clean energy solutions in combating climate change and ensuring sustainability. This day emphasizes the pivotal role of engineers in leading the global transition towards renewable energy resources.
It is indeed a privilege to introduce our esteemed chief guest for the day, Mr. Nitant Mateswar.
Mr. Nitant Mateswar is renowned expert in the field of renewable energy and sustainable innovation. He serves as the partner at Sea Green Solution LLP and as the managing director at Sea Green Products Private Limited, Pune.
With an illustrious career dedicated to advancing clean energy technologies, Mr. Nitant Mateswar has made significant contributions to the renewable energy sector. His work exemplifies the innovative spirit required to drive sustainable development in today's world.
We are honored to have him here with us today to share his invaluable insights on the importance of clean energy and its potential to shape a sustainable future.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us extend a warm round of applause to welcome Mr. Nitant Mateswar.
Now I request Head of Electrical Engineering Department, Dr. S.L. Chauhan sir, to felicitate our esteemed chief guest, Mr. Nitant Mateswar.
Now I request Head of Electrical Engineering Department, Dr. S.L. Chauhan sir, whose visionary leadership has always inspired excellence. Sir, may we kindly invite you to address the gathering.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Respected Dr. Nitant Mateswar, today's speaker, faculty members, and students. Dear students, you know that today we are celebrating International Clean Energy Day, and on this occasion, we invited the speaker who did or he completed near about 30 years in this particular field. Sir is working in our industry, his own industry, sir's own industry. Sir has so many work did in this particular energy related things. So whenever we are calling any speaker, which always gives some input, which is very, very important as far as the future life of the students is concerned. So whenever you are calling any guest, it is a prime responsibility of the students to discuss with the speaker. Whenever we have any doubt, discuss with, ask the question with the sirs, and let us increase your knowledge, because this is the age where student has to progress. And this is taking into mind, we are calling the guest depending on the any occasion. So today we have called the industry expert, and please, whenever sir is a very expert in this field, so listen carefully, take the knowledge shared by the sirs, and if you have any doubt, we can frankly discuss with these sirs. Okay. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your enlightening words and unwavering support. With those inspiring words, it is now time for the much awaited session by our esteemed guest, Sir will be shedding light on the importance of clean energy, its role in mitigating climate change, and the significance of sustainable development in the engineering domain. Now I request Sir to start the session.
Good morning, everyone. Am I audible? Okay. So, renewable energy and energy efficiency and sustainability are very large topics. So, I thought that maybe we can be specific and take a topic and try to discuss about these things about 45-50 minutes. So, you will have to be patient enough for that long. Generally, the question and answer can wait till the end of the lecture, but if somebody has very urgent question, then you can ask, just raise your hand and stop me and ask questions, because I would rather have an interactive session than I keep talking and you keep dozing. So that's not a very good idea. So the topic I have chosen is energy innovations for sustainability. So, because I don't want to talk about solar energy, renewable energy generally, so we'll talk more about innovations, and then how those innovations will lead to better quality life, and also how our thought process has to be different if you want to be effective and live a better life in the future. My generation is almost 75% of our life is over, and your generation is not even at 50% of your life. And we have created problems for you, and our past generations have created problems for you, and you will have to face the problems and make something better of your life. And for that, you should be equipped with proper, what I would say, not just technologies, but proper point of view of thinking, and which is actually supposed to be given by the education system. Unfortunately, our education system doesn't give us that. I was just talking to sir in his cabin, and I told him that the education system we have is completely teaching oriented. So it is teaching focused and not student focused. So the education system has to be actually learning oriented. You see the difference? So learning is done by the student and teaching is done by the teacher. Okay, so for you to learn something is more important than for the teacher to teach something. If you learn something, then you will have better life. So coming back to our topic of today, let us put it in the right perspective. Meeting human aspirations. So what do we aspire for? We want better quality life. We want healthy life. We want to live longer. We want to live comfortable, right? And we want to be happy. And all that is what is we are desiring, we are requiring. And for that, the conventional way of thinking is what? You have to do things in the right way. Your country has to grow, and the country's growth is measured based on GDP, gross domestic product. And the rate at which your GDP is increasing is something that we keep in mind, and we measure that, and we say, My GDP is increasing at 6.5%. That's what is right now about the growth of GDP in India. And so India is doing good. Okay, that's how we measure. But you have to still remember that what we are looking for is happiness. We are looking for better life. We are looking for healthy life. We are looking for longer life, right? But that is not measured. What we are measuring is GDP. So I'll talk about it later a little bit in terms of how our way of thinking needs to change and how our measurements have to be changed. So to do all that, we still need something which we can do today, and we should be able to do that in years to come. Okay? And that means whatever we are trying to do today has to be sustainable. We do it today, we do it tomorrow, we do it 10 years from now, we do it 100 years from now, and we should be able to do that in the same way. So there is urgency for sustainability. You know, in the world, we hear a lot of words like climate change. We hear words like climate resilience. We hear words like carbon emissions and all sorts of things. And then, you know, the COP, that is, Conference of Parties, and all UNFCCC. Have you heard all these names, words? Anybody? Have you heard about this? No, then you should raise your hand and say, sir, I don't understand what you are talking about. Okay, so United Nations, you have heard about that, right? So United Nations is a body, a world body, which came together and thought that, look, I mean, there is a problem of climate change, and the world as a unit has to think about climate change and act on climate change. So the weather is changing, the climate is changing, and that is happening because of carbon dioxide emissions that we have done, is the conventional way of thinking. And to tackle that, the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC, was formed. And that body has taken initiatives and got together a number of countries in the world, around 196 countries, and they came together and they said that, okay, together as a world, we should try and tackle this problem and move towards sustainability, and we should, reduce emissions, we should have better quality life for people, and so on and so forth. In fact, United Nations also came together and created something called Sustainable Development Goals. Are you aware of that? There is something called Sustainable Development Goals. There are 17 goals, and they touch human life, all those goals. So it is equitable energy access, access to water, maintaining water bodies, maintaining ecosystems, all kinds of stuff, education, all those are there in the Sustainable Development Goals. So all the world is trying to come together and look at sustainability, sustainable future. And it is very urgent because it has already come. You can see the changes, you can feel the changes of that those are happening because of climate change. There are number of parameters that the experts have identified which have to be in certain limits for the world to be a stable and nice and livable place. And out of those 6 or 7 parameters, at least 5 parameters have crossed beyond point of no return. Okay, so this is something that is very, very critical, very important. We need to understand that, and we have to change our behavior. And that's the only way things are going to change. See, for example, we talk about renewable energy, right? When we talk about renewable energy, what is renewable? The energy source that is kind of, infinite, and every year we can get the same energy again and again. So it gets renewed. All the sources are getting renewed. Okay, for example, the water is getting renewed, for the biomass is getting renewed. Okay, so it is recycled every year continuously, and that is renewable. Now the problem is we have even crossed the limit of renewability. That means, see, for example, if you are going to use resources this year, then if it is really renewable, next year you should be able to use the same resources. Okay, But what is happening is, for example, if you are talking about say biomass, okay, if I am going to use so many million tons of biomass for energy or for whatever use I am, employing that for, I am using that biomass, and I am saying that that biomass is renewable. So whichever million tons of biomass I use this year, I should be able to use say those many million tons of biomass next year. The problem is my budget of biomass for this year was say X million tons. So I should from 1st of January to 31st of December limit my consumption of biomass to those many million tons. Then only I would say it is really renewable, right? What we are doing is those X million tons of biomass that I was supposed to consume from 1st of January to 31st of December, I am finishing it end of July. Okay? That means after July, is there biomass on earth? Yes, it is there. So I keep grabbing that, I keep using it. But is it going to be sustainable anymore? It is not, because the calculations indicated that I should have been using that X over 12 months, and I am finishing that X in 7 months, and then for next 5 months I am still using biomass. Where is it coming from? I am taking it from the next year, right? So the renewable is not remaining renewable anymore. So those are the kinds of problems that we are creating for ourselves, and if we don't understand this, and if we don't tackle these problems, we are still going to end up with much larger problems to face. Right? We say, okay, electric vehicle is a solution for my problems. I am not going to emit, so my emissions are going to reduce, my climate change is going to reduce, and so on and so forth. In India, what do we produce our maximum electricity with? You are all electrical engineers, right? Indian electricity, how is it produced? Maximum chunk of electricity in India. Anybody? Coal, right? So is Indian electricity clean? No. So actually, if you do calculations, you would realize that your electric car is emitting more than your diesel car. Diesel car is emitting more than petrol car, and petrol car is emitting more than CNG car. So today in India, CNG is the best car, and I say I want to do something for the environment, and I am going to buy an electric car. But we forget that electric car is the most polluting car. Only thing is, yes, it does not pollute next to my home. Okay, it is polluting in Eklere, it is polluting in Chandrapur, it is polluting in Chhattisgarh. It's not polluting in my home, but it is still the maximum polluting car. Electric car, since I am talking about that, when you buy an electric car, right, or if you buy anything, when you buy that thing has already consumed energy, because it is produced, right? It has consumed material. So it has embodied energy. And embodied energy also indicates that it has embodied emissions. So when I buy an electric car, suppose I have, say, Tata Nexon, okay? I'm just giving an example, I have nothing against Nexon. But if I have a Tata Nexon CNG car or diesel car, and I'm using it and I say, hey, I understand I have to do something for the environment, and now I'm going to, throw this off and buy a Tata Electric Nexon. The day I bring, I commute say 40 kilometers a day, okay, because that is also very important. So I told you that electricity by itself emits more than the diesel car. So forget about the emissions that I'm going to increase because I'm going to use electricity. So my operational emissions, let's leave it for the time being. So there I'm going to be losing, okay. But my argument is, Indian grid is slowly increasing its renewable content in it, and my emissions are going to reduce later on, so I'm going to be okay. I can make argument and fool myself at least at this point in time. But when I buy this car, it has embodied emissions. No, and I'm going to say that okay, 40 kilometers per day for next so many number of years I'm going to do, and I'm going to save these many emissions. Okay, I'm assuming that electricity is going to save all those emissions. Okay, but if I do calculations about how many emissions, what emissions were there in the car when it came to my place, because it was manufactured at 40 kilometers a day, that car has emitted for 35 years to come. So I am buying a car, I am creating emissions for next 35 years of my commuting. And I am saying I am doing something for the environment. So whom am I fooling? I am fooling myself. So should I not do this at all? No, I have to do this, but I have to justify every action. How do I do it? How do I compensate for the emissions? Today I am better off keeping my diesel Nexon rather than buying an electric Nexon. Because I am emitting more, I am really not saving anything. But this is never taught. As engineers, we don't even think about it. And that is where I would say that after today's presentation, you start thinking about innovation and you start thinking about innovative thinking is going to be very important. So it is very urgent that we start thinking about sustainability. And sustainability because we require energy for a lot of stuff. We require heating, that may be for cooking or for chemical industry or for generating steam or doing whatever. We require mobility. For that you require fuel. You require lighting and prime movers, electric motors, whatever. So you require electricity. So different forms of energy we are using. Depending on the convenience, depending on the applications, we select the form of energy and then we utilize that energy. And in that process, we end up emitting, creating pollutions, adding to the climate change issues. So I do require energy, I do require development, and for that, how do I go about producing sustainable energy? Sustainability is the key. And we have to, when we look at sustainability, we have to start thinking, we have to learn the interconnects of our life. So I'm going to show you a very busy slide. Okay, don't worry about that. But everything in your life that is there is all interconnected, is what it is telling you. And if you look at the center of the slide, there are 5 things: energy, food, water, health, and waste. Okay, so if we are looking at development of humanity and our problems in front of us, then the problems can be put in only about 5 different areas. It is all about food, water, waste. Sitting in Pune city, you know waste is a big problem, water is a problem. Okay, food of course is a problem because we have to feed the entire population of India, and then these 3 things together are contributing to our being healthy. Okay, so health is an important thing, and for everything that we do in life, we require energy. So if you look at the circle of energy, it encompasses everything. So you require energy for everything in your life. And then there are, and don't worry about that next figure on the right, but essentially there is a lot of stuff that we use, and for everything we require energy. For anything, if we require to change form of energy from one to other, or we want to start with raw material and produce something, for everything that we do in life we require energy, and we end up polluting. So we have to have sources of energy which are perennial. That means when we are talking about sustainability, that source of energy, if I have it today, my son should have it, my grandson should have it, my great-grandson should have it, or daughters also should have it, and then basically generations to come, that energy should be available, then only it is going to be sustainable. So the only sustainable source of energy on earth is not on earth. Okay? It is sun. So it is outside of earth. The only sustainable source of energy is sun. So we have to find ways to harness sun. And on the left hand side you see all bioenergy part of it. In the center on top you see solar, but solar is going to be solar photovoltaic and solar thermal. And then you have on the right hand side wind and hydro and other tidal and whatever. And I am saying that all that is sun. So you know water, hydro energy, you are electrical engineers. So hydroelectric generators are there and you produce electricity. And I am saying hydroelectric generator is also based on sun. Okay? Because sun is the largest pump on earth. It carries the water from sea to mountains, and from there, when it starts coming down, that potential energy is converted to kinetic, which is converted to electrical, and so it is sun. For wind, wind is also sun. Uneven heating of land produces density differences, and because of the density differences, the air flows from one place to other. And we say, there is wind. Okay? So wind energy is also from sun. Solar energy is of course from sun, and solar photovoltaic or solar thermal, it is from sun. And bioenergy, of course it is sun. You and I, we are all made of sun, because we are all made of basic materials, those were produced by the plants. And plants convert solar energy to food. The first building block of us all, the life on earth, is glucose. Carbon dioxide plus water produces glucose plus oxygen. That's the basic thing from which, so we don't produce our own food. Plants produce it for us and we eat it. Okay? So this is something that we have to remember, and the solutions that we are going to find for sustainability are going to be this plus whatever future thing like producing hydrogen out of biomass or whatever you are thinking about, all that is going to be sustainable only because you are capturing the sun and putting it into the application which you want to use for your own benefit. Okay? And so hybrids of this, because sun availability is not 24/7. Sun is available, for example, in India, sun is available for very limited time, right? It's only daytime, and daytime also, bright sun will be available only few hours a day. So that is something that we have to keep in mind. So we have to store the energy, or we have to find naturally where the energy is stored, that is biomass, and then use that. So this is just metrics of sustainability. Let's not go into complications of that, but I would like you to understand that you are electrical engineers, but you cannot say that I am an electrical engineer, so I don't know anything about biology, I don't know anything about chemistry, physics is something I would not want to work with. It is not possible. In today's world, you have to understand everything, because any solution that you are going to need is going to be multidisciplinary. Okay? So this is something that you have to keep in mind. I am standing in front of you giving lectures to electrical engineers. I am a mechanical engineer. And for last number of years, I have worked in solar and on biogas and in biofuels, and now working on biomass, hydrogen, fuel cells. Nothing to do with mechanical engineering, but everything to do with engineering, because engineers are problem solvers. We are supposed to solve problems. Okay? So I would want you to understand and appreciate that whatever you have to do in the future, every dot represents a cell of matrix where, for example, the first is solar photovoltaic. You need physics for that, you need mathematics for that, materials for that, mechanical engineering, electrical, electronics, telecommunication, all kinds of things. You require practically everything. Vertically, if you see, there are only a few cells which are empty, otherwise all cells have black dot in it. That means for anything that you want to solve, you need understanding and knowledge to certain level. You need not be expert in that. But you cannot say that, look, I'm an engineer, I don't know anything about biogas because I don't want to deal with bacteria or whatever. It doesn't matter. You have no choice. If you want to be sustainable, you have to do that. And for doing all that, whatever is existing is not enough. So you will have to innovate. Okay, and I'm going to shift gears to innovation now. What is the time limit in terms of where do I have to stop? It is 11:17 right now.
Up to 12:15.
ओके बॉस, तुमच्या मॅडमने तुमचा फार म्हणजे चोथा केला की अजून 1 तास बोललात तरी चालेल म्हणतात. ओके, सो एनिवे जोक्स अपार्ट, बट आय वुड वॉन्ट यू पीपल टू अंडरस्टँड दिस अँड प्लीज रेज युअर हँड अँड आस्क क्वेश्चन्स whenever you feel like, because that will keep you awake. Okay, so